been a while since I've done a good old-fashioned bike review. So if you want a chance to win an electric bike, make sure to hit that subscribe button and stay tuned. Now this one's a little bit different. This is from a crowdfunding campaign from a company called Mate, and this is the Mate X. Now they didn't send this bike to me. I actually bought the bike and then waited, I don't remember how long. I think it was something like 15 months before the bike actually arrived. It took a long time. Now the reason I originally bought the bike, I'll be honest, is because they sold a lot of them. And I wanted to see, why was this bike so popular? What made it so great? And I learned something from that experience, which is just because a bunch of other people have bought something doesn't make it good. Let's pull this bike out and see what we've actually got. Okay, so we've got a rear rack, not installed, but we got it. Got a rear fender, a front fender. Let's get all these zip ties cut off of here. So I'm starting to get things open. Here's a little bag with some reflectors. I see I've got a tail light in there. And one of the complaints I saw from other people who received their bikes and opened them up before I did was a problem with the charger. As most of you know, I'm located in the United States, and we use a 110 volt outlet. All of the chargers, at least early on, shipped with this. That doesn't work. My first thought was that I would just go grab a power cord, plug it into the charger, no big deal, because usually the charger and the cord that go to the wall are a separate piece. But no, not on the Mate bike. It is hardwired in, so the only way I'm going to be able to charge this bike is to modify the charger by cutting this plug off and installing a US 110 volt plug, because the charger can accept a 100 to 240 volt input. So we can do that. That's a little bit annoying. It should have just come with the right charger, but it doesn't. This may be a sign of things to come. On the plus side, it is a 4 amp charger, so that's a pretty decent charging rate. One of the things I read about online that people weren't too happy with was the charger because of the plug and on this end and the plug on this end. As you can see, this is kind of like an RCA style. This is like something you'd find on your old VCR. Yeah, you guys remember those? It doesn't look the greatest, but I'll show you where the real problem comes in with that later. I guess it's kind of a plus for me that I ordered the slick tires for the bike, because they decided to have all the bikes come with the tires that have an off-road tread. And if that's what you ordered, then they just gave you the street tires in the box. So I got extra tires, that's great. So far it doesn't look bad. A couple of odd things. It's a folding bike, but the handlebars aren't installed. I feel like usually with a folding bike, the handlebars would be just off to the side. One pedal was installed, one wasn't. No rhyme or reason why, just observing what I found. The front chain ring looks to be decent quality. The folding pedals are from Welgo, but they're the metal ones, not the plastic. Chain and derailleur look decent. I mean, the bike wasn't very expensive, $9.99 before shipping. So what can you expect for a $1,000 crowdfunded bike? Okay, so first impressions, having it out of the box, it looks pretty decent. Brakes are decently tuned. The shifter only needed a small adjustment. I have not put the rear rack or the fenders on, just for the sake of time for this video, but I don't foresee any problems with the mounting. They all look decent. Nothing's broken. I have seen quite a few people who received their bike and the front fork was broken. Thankfully, we didn't have that problem. There is a lockout. I guess we'll test that and see how well it works. But based on what I've seen from forks just being snapped just from shipping, it's not gonna be the greatest quality. We've got a 8-speed Shimano grip shifter up here. Seat is decent looking. It doesn't look bad, honestly. The motor originally was supposed to be a 750 watt Bafang. You know how I feel about motors. The quickest way to find out if the motor is going to perform as advertised is to go ride the bike around. So let's turn it on. Power button on. Yay, it turned on. Wait, or did it? I would charge the bike up if I could, but I can't. I guess I should look and see if the keys make the bike turn on and off, and maybe they do. I've seen a couple of bikes like this, not a huge fan of it, where the key goes underneath the frame. Don't really like that spot, but that's where it is. Okay, that made the bike turn on. Perfect, we got eco mode. Let's change it to Imperial. Brightness, auto off. Okay, so we got a nice color screen. That's pretty cool. And we'll peel this little protector off. I didn't plug that tail light in, but this is like a turn signal thing. There's a horn button, but I didn't see a horn anywhere. We've got a throttle. There we go. Now the throttle does something. Now I know it only says 80% charge, but my gut feeling based on that throttle level right there was that this may not be that powerful. Oh, it's actually got 9 levels of assist. Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna take it outside for a minute, ride it around, see how it performs. Okay, so the power isn't bad. The pedal assist is, whoa, not great. And let me show you why when I get to a safe spot. Okay, I am gonna be using no throttle and I'm not gonna hit the brakes. Watch what happens when I pedal and listen to the motor. Pedaling, stop pedaling. There's a good second or two after you stop pedaling that the motor keeps going. I've heard of people experiencing something like that on other bikes. I haven't had any to do it myself until this one. So it's like pedaling. Pedal assist should be going, that's normal. And stop. There's a good split second there where it keeps going. Now if we pull the brake, it should stop that immediately. So we'll stop and squeeze the brake. Yeah, that worked. Okay, so the brake cutoff works just fine, but the pedal assist is kind of, electronically speaking, it's kind of sloppy. But power-wise, it's not bad. It is a 750 watt motor, supposedly. We haven't cracked it open to see what's actually in there, but it's a 750 watt bike. It says it's drawing more than 1,000 watts on the screen when I'm giving it a little burst. Let's see what the top speed does. 19 miles an hour, 20, 21, 22. So about 22, that's not bad. You can only go so fast on a bike that has a little 20-inch wheel, unless you really crank the voltage up or put in a direct drive motor. That's right, I was gonna test the lockout. So it locked. So the lockout does work. It doesn't feel great, but it works. Okay, let's head back to the shop and do a little more digging on this thing. So it is a full suspension folding 20-inch fat tire bike with a 750 watt motor. It sounds like it's everything you've ever dreamed of in a small little bike. There's the rear suspension. It works. I don't expect it to last long. This is where the marketing was definitely deceiving. They actually showed a guy on video take one of these bikes over some jumps and do a backflip, and that's completely insane. I think anybody who has the skill to do that, props to them. It's all about them, not the bike. And you would have to land that so smoothly, and I just can't imagine the bike would survive that very many times, especially when people had the fork broken from shipping. I'm not going over any jumps with this particular bike. Now, I said the lead time wasn't great when I ordered the bike from the crowdfunding campaign to check it out. It took, I think it was about 15 months before the bike showed up. Others were not so lucky. That's right, I said others weren't so lucky. Some of them waited even longer to receive their bikes, 18 months, even more. That is way, way, way too long. And to me, I understand that manufacturing problems can happen, delays can happen, sometimes there are things beyond your control, but what really bugged me about the campaign is that people were waiting a year, 18 months, still hadn't received their bike, and they kept pushing the marketing and saying, order today and you'll have it in 2-3 weeks kind of thing. And I'm thinking, there's no way they can deliver those bikes in weeks when there's people who a year and a half ago still haven't received their bikes. The marketing was a little bit deceiving to me. I don't like it. So sorry, mate. I believe in being honest with your customers, and to me, that just didn't make sense. One of the other things I talk about often is customer service. And if you bought one of these, I hope you don't have a problem with it, because I have not heard great things about the customer service if you have a part broken or need anything. It sounds like the response time has been very, very slow. And I'm not talking days or weeks, I'm talking months and not hearing anything. And I'm scrolling through the Mate Bike Backers forum. So this is a group of people who have the bike, and just let me read some of the comments. I'm just gonna scroll through sporadically. I'm just gonna read them, good or bad, whatever they say, so you can see what sort of things people are experiencing right now. Here's somebody named Susie. I have let you guys know that I still have not received my headlight. This was posted June 15th. So June 15th of this year, bike ordered April 2019, nor have I received the extra charger and battery I ordered and paid for May and July 2019. I've tried to cancel the orders for charger and battery with no response from customer service. Isn't a year long enough? There's a comment on it that says, good luck. I didn't get all my refund. They still owe me $200, won't reply. This brand has the worst customer service I've ever seen. How can I talk with them by mail? Now the address hello@mate.bike is not working. I'm waiting for more than a year for it to arrive. I want my blank bike or my money. And then, oh yes, because there was a campaign, I just saw this, where the company was looking for investor money now. So if you want to, as a customer or person, just invest in their company, you can give them more of your hard-earned money. Here's a comment about that. This is the next one. These are just in a row. If you think I'm investing in your Cedars campaign, you must be completely bonkers. Comments on that. I totally agree. Never do that. They are not reliable. Selling my Mate X750S with lots of extras in Copenhagen. So somebody's selling it. Some next comment, Mate is a cool bike with a couple photos. Now I have to get to one of the even bigger issues that was found by one of the people that bought the bike, is there was an option for a 17.5 amp hour battery. They were pushing it, advertising it. Here's this great upgrade, you can pay extra for it. 17.5 amp hour battery with Panasonic cells. I don't recall what the exact reason was, but somebody who bought one of these bikes opened their battery up. And to their surprise, it didn't have Panasonic cells at all. They were from LG. Now, that alone wouldn't be a terrible thing. LG makes some decent cells. But the main problem with it, at least in my opinion, is that instead of a 17.5 amp hour battery, you actually got a 16 amp hour battery. So not only did you not get the brand of cells you paid for, but you got a smaller capacity battery than what you paid for. Now, when this was brought up to the company that, hey, you sold us batteries that aren't what we paid for, basically the response has been, we're investigating it, with no resolution to this date as far as I know. Now, since we're talking about the battery, let me show you the charger issue. Now, I've already showed you this, which I can't plug into anything, but take a look at where the charge port goes. Now, if we look straight on, you can see that there's the charge port. It doesn't quite line up to the hole, but that's okay. It should go in. I'm gonna be careful here. And, oh! You guys may have seen a spark just then. I hope I caught that on camera. It's not plugged in. Why did it spark? Let's unplug it. Yep, if you look really closely, you can see a little spot right there where it sparked already. That's because this is so tight up against the edge that as you try to plug this in, it shorts out against the frame. That's not only a bad design, that's downright dangerous, that you can short out your battery just by trying to plug it in, even if it's not plugged into the wall. So if you have one of these, or if you're looking at buying one of these used, whatever it is, I would highly recommend opening the bike up through the folding mechanism, pulling the battery out and charging it that way, because this is dangerous. I know this isn't one of my usual reviews. This kind of isn't going very good. I can't plug the bike in. If I could plug it in, I'm afraid it's gonna spark. Maybe it'll catch on fire. I don't know. Now I have a bike that isn't the greatest of quality, and the customer service is notorious for being pretty terrible. So what do I do with an electric bike that's not very good? Say hello to my little friend. No, I'm totally kidding. I'm not gonna do that. That would be a waste of perfectly good propane. But what am I gonna do with the bike? I think that we can fix the charger. We'll cut the plug off. We'll put on a proper 110 volt. The charging port, perhaps if we make that hole in the frame a little bit bigger, we can add some clearance so it's not such a fire hazard. And then I don't really want to keep the bike, and I don't feel good about selling it. Mate feels good about selling it, but I personally wouldn't sell this to anybody for any price. I feel like the only price where this is good is free. So I'm gonna give this bike away. So if you wanna enter to win the bike, go check out the link in the description of this video. I do feel okay if I just gave it away to somebody with the hazardous problems fixed first. But I just want you guys to know that I will review all sorts of bikes. Sometimes companies send me bikes, sometimes I've bought the bike. The point is, I'm gonna be honest with my reviews, whether they're good or bad. If I was a stockbroker, this would be a do not buy option. So there you have it, an unfiltered review of this particular bike. If you want to see more reviews, hopefully more positive ones in the future, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Once again, check out the link in the description for a chance to win a free bike, because at that price, I think it's worth it.